While London has been dealing with terror, Washington has been hosting a major security conference, a global anti-ISIL coalition summit. It's the first time the foreign ministers of all 68 member countries have met since the formation of the coalition in 2014. RT's Guyan H. Jacan is following the conference.
The anti-ISIS summit that the U.S. convened in Washington on Wednesday started on a positive note as Secretary of State Rex Tillerson reported some progress in the fight against the terrorist group.
When the forces of ISIS and Daesh tune into their TVs and their computer monitors, they will see the strength of a combined 68 nations and organizations. Reflecting on the past year or so, we should be encouraged by the significant progress we as a coalition are making.
Get up! Get under cover now! Get under cover! Down the street!
It is harder for terrorists to get in, and more importantly, harder for them to get out to threaten our homelands.
It was during the summit that news broke of a terrorist attack in London, with British Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson still in Washington. The forum seemed to focus on the military fight against ISIS in Iraq and in Syria. But the attack in London showed that perhaps the enemy hardest to fight is the one at home.
The idea was to strike where it would have the greatest visibility. Parliament is a very good target, and obviously, given all the attention we're showing it, they have succeeded. We're going to have to do something. We're going to have to combine our efforts. We should be working with the government of Assad in Syria and with Russia, and to come up with a coordinated effort to deal with this growing problem.
The officials at the summit did talk about preventing the seeds of terror from taking root around the world.
A digital caliphate must not flourish in the place of a physical one.
Easier said than done. To many, it is clear that fighting terrorism will take a lot more than simply bombing targets overseas. And perhaps a lot more coordination between countries will be needed as well. The summit of what is called the Global Coalition to Counter ISIS included some 68 countries. The U.S. announced the coalition 3 years ago. Roughly half of the countries invited had merely a tangential role in actually fighting the terrorist group, countries like Panama or Luxembourg. Notably not invited was Russia, even though it has long been calling for joining forces against ISIS. The exclusion of some countries that are also fighting ISIS has raised the question about just how global the global coalition is. In Washington, I'm Guyan H. Jacan, RT.